David Jeck, Superintendent of Fauquier County Public Schools, with another edition of One Hard Question. Today's question comes from Candace N, and Candace N asks the following. I have a 7th grade student. I've heard many discussions among neighbors about the block system that is used in FCPS high schools. Why was this system adopted? What are the pros and cons? Thank you very much, Candace. Good question. First, the 4x4, the decision to move to a 4x4 in Fauquier predates me, so I don't know precisely why the decision was made. However, I can tell you that during the 90s, probably latter 1980s into the 90s, there was a tremendous push in Virginia to move to block schedule, mainly due to the work of two fellows by the name of Michael Rettig and Lynn Kennedy. They are sort of the block schedule gurus in Virginia and nationally. The promise that was made, particularly in the 90s, was that if you move to a block schedule, test scores are going to go up, student achievement levels are going to go up, there's going to be all these benefits to going to a block schedule. Well, that never really happened. The piece related to test scores going up. Test scores have gone up in Virginia, but there's no real evidence that they went up as a result of going to block scheduling. Okay, so that promise was never really met. However, there are lots of other benefits to block scheduling that are sort of that weren't necessarily predicted but have come true. One is GPAs, and I must just be talking about 4x4 because that's the question. I could talk about AB, but we don't have an AB schedule, so I'm just going to stick with 4x4. GPAs in 4x4 schedules tend to be higher. Graduation rates in 4x4 schools tend to be a little bit higher. Retention, students being retained in grades tend to be lower in 4x4, and that's because if I'm a freshman student and I fail English 9 as a brand new freshman, I don't necessarily have to wait until my sophomore year to retake English 9, or I don't have to wait until the summer. I can just take it the next semester. That's a real benefit in terms of retaining students and keeping the graduation rates up and dropout rates down, because it's less discouraging for students. Plus, instead of having 6 or 7 opportunities to earn credits in a semester or in a school year, they have 8, which translates into 32 opportunities to earn credits during a high school career, which gives you students more opportunity to take dual enrollment classes, AP courses, other electives, CTE elective courses, do co-op work. There's more opportunity to do those things in a 4x4 schedule versus a traditional schedule, and which is one of the reasons why we have so many early college scholars in not only in Fauquier County but in Virginia. There's more and more students earning at least 15 credits, college credits, while they're in high school, and some of that, or I would even say a lot of that, has to do with folks going to a 4x4 schedule. So there's that benefit, and then I mentioned the GPA piece. And there's also evidence out there about discipline, that there are fewer discipline problems in a 4x4 schedule. Why is that? Well, a couple reasons. One, there are fewer class changes, and oftentimes discipline problems occur during class changes. Kids bump into each other and get in a fight in the bathroom or whatever it is. There's fewer opportunities for class changes because you're going to change classes after first block, second block, third block, and after fourth block you go home. So you're really only changing classes exchanging classes 3 times. There's fewer opportunity to get in trouble. And there's some evidence out there about teachers developing relationships, positive relationships, healthy relationships with students, because teachers only going to teach 3 out of 4 on a 4x4 schedule. They have only 3 classes, 90 minutes in each class, better chance to build relationships with students. It's less stressful for students on their part, because if they're taking 4 classes in a semester, probably 2 of them are going to be core area courses. Then they're probably, they're going to have a PE or maybe a CTE course, like a business course or another elective. It's less stressful. It's different than in a traditional schedule taking 6 or 7 courses at one time. It's a lot more homework. It's a lot more to prepare for. It's different with a 4x4. You're really probably going to be taking 2, maybe 3 really tough courses. Then you're going to have an elective, and then it kind of starts over again the next semester, and it's more like a college model. So I like the 4x4. There's a lot of benefits to the 4x4. Probably several that I missed here. The downside to 4x4, you might hear things like, well, my child, they took Spanish 1 as a freshman, first semester freshman, they don't take Spanish 2 again until, you know, first semester of their sophomore year or second semester of their sophomore year. And those are legitimate complaints, or concerns, although there's no evidence that supports that that's a real hindrance to those students. There's just not the data out there to support that. So those are some of the cons you might hear. Another one is you're trying to compact too much into a semester. Well, the reality is you're spending the same number of minutes per class um, in the semester as they would for the whole school year. It may seem compact, but remember they're only taking 4. So anyway, I think there's cons to it. My student advisory group, who I just met with recently, all 3 schools, I asked them this very question. As a matter of fact, how they felt about 4x4. They like it for a lot of the reasons I just mentioned. So hope this is helpful to you. If you want to know more about sort of the history and why it came about, shoot me an email because I have to go back and talk to Dr. Mitchell or someone else who knows a little bit more about the history. But I can tell you that most schools in Virginia, they now have a block schedule. There's fewer and fewer that have a traditional schedule. So hope this information was helpful to you and hope you have a great evening. Thank you.